Welcome to Studio Chat, an entertainment talk show covering movies, TV, music, and more. Chelsea here with a special guest who is a true icon with a fascinating career in film and television, Ms. Veronica Cartwright. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, I'd like to start things off with where we met, your recent appearance at the Hollywood show in Burbank, California. Of course, it wasn't your first time appearing at this event, but how was your experience this time around?
Well, this one was for Leave It to Beaver, actually. It was five people that had been on Leave It to Beaver. And of course, I played Violet Rutherford on Leave It to Beaver and gave Beaver its first kiss. And also, so it was fun to see other people. But, it's amazing. Like Kim, who was there, she quit show business after doing Leave It to Beaver. And it was fun to go in and also, what was his name? John. He was one of the ones who had played some sort of a character on the show. I guess he was one of the kids, and he quit show business too, and he does documentaries for PBS and stuff like that. So it was fascinating. I hadn't seen those people before, and so I'd done a couple of Beaver things, but I do Hollywood show. I mean, David Eckelby is a great guy, and so I don't do him very often, but he asked me if I would do it because of it being Leave It to Beaver, so I did.
Of course. Yeah, that's one of the fun things the Hollywood show does is pair together these kind of reunions from different TV shows and movies and everything. And it is fascinating to see kind of where everybody's gone since then. Some people have stayed consistent in show business since then. Some have branched off and done their own thing, but they come
I
back for the
know.
union. So it's definitely fun.
Yeah, that's good.
You are someone who definitely has been very consistent in show business, been going strong in a very cool career with lots of fascinating things. And some of your most recent news would have to be the film called The Ruse. I've only watched the trailer so far, and I found it so unsettling in the best way. So I'd
Oh,
love
oh,
to hear
good.
more about
Oh,
it from
good. Well,
you.
you have to see the movie. I don't know whether it's going to be out streaming or not. We shot that in Maine, and it was a terrific script. So, yeah, it's got a few jumps in there, and that's good.
Definitely. No, Maine, I mean, that's perfect. New England always has that perfect eerie kind of energy for a horror movie, I
Right,
think.
right. So
Definitely,
it
that's
was
great. But
fun.
I would love to hear more about the film from you and just your experience in creating the character and getting into that role.
Okay. Well, she was a concert pianist, I mean, a conductor. She had been all over the world, was sort of world renowned, but now she has sort of gotten dementia and she's not as with it as she used to be. And and so she has a caretaker. And one of the caretakers that she had has gone missing and which perturbs her a lot because she thinks she's just left out of the blue and just gone, and without saying goodbye or why did she just leave? And so then the new girl comes and she keeps, strange things keep happening, and she's wondering what's going on. And all the people seem to be involved in some sort of a way. And this character she has OCD as well as being having her dementia. So I get very particular about certain things and where they're supposed to be. And she was just a really interesting character. I hadn't got to play anything like that quite before. I mean, I've done things where doctor shows where I've sort of not been all there, but this was a little different. And so it was fun. I had a good time doing it. Maine's beautiful. We shot it really quickly, and the photography is terrific. And so it was good. And Maddie's terrific in it, and it was a good experience. So hopefully it'll stream or come out on in a streaming platform. I mean, right now it was just in theaters, but unfortunately had a limited run. So hopefully more people will get to see it.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of publicity surrounding it, and streaming is definitely the most common path for a film now, so I'm sure it'll make it there.
Oh, good.
Yes, well, I read once that have said you write a biography for every character you play. And I love that because becoming a character is about analyzing what's already there in the script, of course, but it's about creating the rest from yourself. So I would love to hear more on your process.
Well, that is something that I learned. I studied with Jack Garfine, who was part of the original group theater, Strasberg and those that healthy group of who started teaching classes, and everybody had their own version. But because I had never really taken any formal acting classes. I mean, things just sort of, I found out that I was doing a lot of things naturally that but I was doing them, but I didn't know what the basis of it was. So I studied with Jack for like 3.5 years. And it was great. He starts out with doing exercises that are from the Stanislavski book. And at one point he says, well, when we get to the next exercise, um, we will lose half of the class. And everybody's like, oh, dear, how did you do this? But it was like such an interesting exercise. It was a hidden object. There's an object that's hidden someplace, and then you have to go on stage and then you have to find it. Well, it's amazing how many people will just go like this and, well, I don't know where it is. Well, did you look for it? Um, well, there's, you have to look for these things. I don't know whether it was embarrassment or they just thought it was going to get too complicated from that point on, but we did. We lost half of our class. We went from like 24 to 12. And then we ended up losing a couple of others, but it was a fascinating group of people. Richard Wallace was in there, who ended up doing lots of stuff for Stephen Bochco. He ended up being a director and then ended up being a producer. And we had a young man, Mark Brown, who was there because he was a lawyer, and he wanted to make sure that he could do good. If it's just getting the jury, so that they would know, he would be able to give them things that they would be able to think about and stuff like that, which I thought was quite fascinating. We had Tom Schulman in the class. Tom Schulman ended up winning an Oscar for Dead Poets Society, which he wrote. And it's always wonderful when you work with directors that have had some sort of experience um,
On
with
the acting
acting
side as
classes
well,
or
right?
something like that
Yeah.
because they know how to talk to you. They also write fuller characters. The character and Jack was always one that said you need to write a biography for your character. I mean, it was just so weird. I had used to write a journal, and I had moved to Europe because I wasn't working at all in the States, and I'm British, so I thought, well, I'll move over there. And my luggage was stolen with my journal. After that, it became so when I'd write my biographies for characters, I found them in cookbooks. I found them in the strangest
Oh
places
my.
because I didn't want anybody else knowing what I was doing. So
That's true. It's very
silly.
discreet, right? Only you know where it is.
But when I went over there, I was lucky enough to get this movie called Inserts with Richard Dreyfuss, and Bob Hoskins' first movie, Jessica Harper. Stephen Davies. It was just a small little piece, but oh my God, I wanted that part so bad. And I ended up getting it, which was really nice. I got to audition with Richard. And it was so interesting because when I wrote my biography, I decided that she was from Winnetka, Illinois. And the reason that she couldn't make it big time in movies was because she talked like this. And it was like every single time I went on the audition, my voice ended up being like this, and I couldn't get out of it. It was ridiculous, but it worked for the character, and that's what happened. And so, of course, I had my biography for that, and over the years, because Jack says when you do stuff and you do write your biographies and things like that, those things start to become subconscious so that when you're acting, you're not thinking. So as somebody like Brando, when on the waterfront, she dropped her glove and he picked it up and he started using it, like putting it on like it was a boxing mitts, things like that. Those are become these accidents that are wonderful accidents, and they're they're coming from your subconscious because that's what your character would do. So, And I've had wonderful moments where you just accidentally, I mean, and I've done a lot of stage. So sometimes, if people forget their lines or you go up or something like that, it's amazing how everybody can rally around and the audience probably never knows the difference. I did a play with Dreyfus called The Hands of Its Enemy, which was with Phyllis Fralick. And it was a sign play because Phyllis was deaf. I mean, stone deaf. So one night we all learned sign, but Richard had a whole scene where he had to sign with her while he was talking, and he went up. And we're like backstage going, oh my God, he's gone up. And she just kept signing to him. And he picked up on what she was signing and got him totally back on track. It was like such a wonderful moment, that it was great. I mean, but things like that, those are what make theater special and terrific. Or if something happens and somebody gets the giggles on stage, I mean, and then them trying to get out of that. I don't know, it's just wonderful moments. And I've had that quite a few times in doing shows, and it always makes things, you know that when you're reacting it's not reacting as out of character. You react because your subconscious is taken over. So that's why I write biographies. I don't do
Very
it for
cool.
everything. Some things are quite obvious what they are, but for major things, I have always written a biography.
Very nice. Yes, and I agree with that theater sentiment as well. I also come from a theater background and I've always appreciated the live energy, and there's something about theater where you can't exactly yell cut in the middle of it. So whatever
Yeah,
happens
you
that
just
night,
have to
even if
go
it's
for
not
it.
mistakes, just if the energy's a little different on that night, just whatever happens, it's a special moment of just the people in
Yes.
that room experience
Yes, just for
once.
those people. I mean, it's great. Those are special moments that you take dear to your heart. So
Definitely. No, that's wonderful. And I mean this is wonderful to hear all your intellectual words and your experiences so far on just acting. And you are so highly regarded and admired as an actress in general, but also when it comes to the horror and sci-fi worlds, that community in particular really embraces your amazing work in the genre, because you started with that when you were a child, and now here you are coming out with a thriller movie this year as well. So what are your thoughts on the horror fans and community?
it's accidental. I mean, it just happens that those characters happen to be really interesting. I don't know, like when I did Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I mean, that was sort of like part of that whole genre. Um, I mean, she knew what she was talking about. I mean, everybody was sort of getting all wrapped up. I knew that if I became like pretended to be a pod person and I showed no emotion and I just was that I because why did everything have to come in metal ships? No, I mean, I mean there's many ways. I mean, we could be living amongst aliens and we don't know it. But so the ending of the movie, I really thought that I had convinced Donald Sutherland and that we were going to be the two survivors. I had no idea he was going to point to me and betray me. So that was like, I guess Phil took me around the block and we talked and Phil Kaufman, who was the director, and we talked and stuff like that. And so when I approached him, that's why it took me so long to approach him and check out whether or not he was, acting weird or anything like that. And then the moment I relaxed, he did that thing and I went ballistic because it just pissed me off so much. I really thought there was going to be another movie. There was nobody else around. It was only him. I still believe I could have escaped. But I just those are moments where, you're just in character and I don't know. And it's not that I picked them sci-fi. I mean, Alien, I thought I was Ripley. And so I was sort of very disappointed when I found out that I was Lambert, because from what I'd read, she just seemed to cry all the time. But if you think about it, she was the only wise one on that damn ship saying, let's get out of here, let's draw straws, and I guess I was sort of the audience, how the audience felt, because I mean, going back for your cat for crying out loud. I mean,
Exactly. No, that's true. Yeah, you kind of brought, when the audience is in the theater shouting, "Don't go in there," or "Go
don't
back,
do
get out of there,"
that or
you were
go
the voice
back
in the
or
movie doing that. You're right.
um but I don't know, the characters have always been pretty interesting, so I don't mind doing that. But I've gotten to do other stuff too. I did
Of course.
a crazy movie, Sparkler, which was I was got to be a stripper. And I had to take my little strip classes, and we went to strip clubs and stuff like that. And that was really fun. That's a darling movie if nobody's seen it. I think it's on Amazon right now. It's called Sparkler, and it's with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jamie Kennedy and Steve Petrarca, and Parker Overall is the lead lady who comes to visit me, and I am a stripper working at a joint called The Crack. And my girlfriend is Sandy Martin in it. And Sandy Martin, she's from always sunny in Philadelphia. She's like a lifelong friend. She's so dear. And so we just had a ball doing that. And so I gotten to play different characters. I mean, what was the other? Oh, we did a silly movie called uh, Straight Jacket. And Straight Jacket, it was a gay film, but everybody who was straight played a gay character, and everybody who was gay played straight characters. And it's done like a 1940s movie. I'm like a Roz Russell character, talks 50 miles an hour and telling this boy what he's supposed to be doing and stuff like that. We did all these things in like one takes, and so that I mean, it had an amazing flow to it and stuff. So that's another fun movie. And then, of course, there was The Right Stuff, where I got to play Betty Grissom. So it's those I write I write biographies for, Betty. I had to figure out what was going on with Betty because I didn't get to meet Betty Grissom because there was big lawsuits going on and her husband had died and it was, a lot of bad stuff. But
Yeah.
so it's like I watched a lot of footage and film and things like it. She thought she was going to meet Jackie Kennedy and has a little straw bag with flowers on it. I mean, I just thought that was so dear because that was said 1,000 words with what
Right.
that character or who she was. So they went out and got me a strawberry
Ah.
with flowers on it. Phil goes,
Authentic.
"Oh, she's good. She knows what she's talking about when she asks for these things." So
Very cool.
I
Yeah,
don't
you've
know. It's
also
just,
played the role of Mrs. Olive Osmond for a film called
yes, I
Inside the
did.
Osmonds, and I've always found the Osmonds fascinating. What a talented family they are. But how different do you find the process of portraying a real person versus a fictional character?
Um, well, you've just got to be, true to yourself. I mean, understanding where they came from. I mean, we had a lot of research. They gave us a lot of research on Olive. Of course, I mean, I have blue eyes, and so I had to wear brown contacts and dark brown hair. And I mean, I don't even quite know how I got that part. But I mean, it was really great. It was fun, and the Osmonds showed up, all of them, the whole family at the end of the movie. They all came out. It was really very cool. So I got to meet Olive, and yeah, you do your research and see as best you can what they're coming through, and hope that you're true to their character, as much as you can be.
Definitely. Well, you do a wonderful job in any role you play. And another
Oh,
film
thank
I'd
you.
like to ask you about is Flight of the Navigator. I feel like that film
Oh,
actually shows such range for you as an actress because you play Helen, David's mother, at so many different emotional states, but also totally different stages of life. So I'd love to hear your memories from working on that film.
that is such a beloved movie I get so many people that are like in their 50s come up to me and say, "Oh, that was my favorite movie when I was,
Oh.
oh my gosh, I love that movie." And we did a documentary with Joey, which was nice. And I saw him when I was over in London doing a con. He was actually there. I hadn't seen him in a long time, but he The movie was wonderful. Randall Kleiser is just sort of one of those people that has a twinkle in his eye. And it was such a sweet movie. I think that was Jessica, um, oh God,
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker. Yes, I knew there was another thing in front of it. That was her first movie. And well, at the time we were shooting it, I thought it was very odd because they kept having the cameraman down flat on the ground with the camera. Everything was like looking up, and I thought, gosh, this is so weird. So Cliff Young and I, at one point, when Sarah comes in, she says, "We found Joey." The two of us decided we would crouch down and go, "Yeah, where is he?" You know, like looking underneath the car. And finally, the DP says, "All right, I get it. I get it." I mean, it was terrible. Everything was such an odd angle. I mean, but it was a delightful little movie. And it's just sweet. It's very sweet. I hear Bryce Dallas Howard is going to be doing a remake. I'd love to play the part that Howard Hessman played, but I suppose it'll be totally different. It's like, when they redo the birds. I saw they redid the birds once on television and they used pigeons. I mean, that's really, not the most scary of birds. A bit
True.
odd. I mean, I mean, why do these people mess with classics? I just don't get it. I mean, Michael Bay's supposed to be doing the birds. And, so interesting when Alfred Hitchcock did it. I mean, Jessica Tandy is supposed to have had me. Of course, they were making her older, but it was sort of had that edible sort of thing. It was like a Greek tragedy in a way, where the mother is obsessed with the son, and of course has gotten rid of Annie, who is Suzanne Plachette, gotten rid of, wants to get rid of Tippy, but Tippy is persistent and ends up, of course, she doesn't know whether she's brought those birds or what it is, but. Um, and then you turn around and you recast it with a 30-year-old mother with kids that are 7 and 8. It's just sort of loses what the essence and creepiness of that entire story was.
I agree. There are certain films that are just completely untouchable, and I
Yeah,
think that's definitely one
why?
of them.
Why are you doing this? And I mean, we had practical birds. There was so little CGI in them. But I mean, we had trained birds. There was something like 15,000 birds that came down that
My God.
chimney. They had them in chutes, and we were in a gigantic bubble. Well, of course, the birds, what do? They all go up, and there's no place to go, so they just drop. They
Oh
just
God.
drop. Oh my God, it was horrible. It was just so, it was really, you felt so bad for the birds, but at the same time, you felt Jessie trod on one. Oh my God, she was just so upset. I mean, it was unbelievable. We had our script supervisor set up an aviary, and she'd treat all of these injured birds.
Oh,
I mean, it was
gosh.
it was just. I mean, but it's a classic. Why do you want to go and stick a bunch of CGI? I mean, Alien.
Yes.
And the more aliens there are does not make the movie better. I mean, the fact that there was one alien and it had to plant its seed somewhere and it had to have a human so it could be a host. I mean, and you're never quite sure what the alien looked like until the end when it came forward. I mean, that's much scarier than seeing, 15 aliens. And when it got to the point where there was that alien one with Winona Ryder and they were all swimming, they looked like sperm swimming across. I mean, it was hundreds of them. It was so ridiculous. And it was just stupid. And
That's
I don't know why they mess with classics.
yeah, that's the
The
thing
last
is
one
there's
was pretty good. I've seen all of them, but uh, I didn't care for the one in the colony where that one was weird. I didn't get through that one, but I thought two was good, but still they were getting there with a couple too many aliens, and
yeah.
I
It's
don't
that
know.
fine line of the franchise concept where,
I
this
know, and they're
amazing
making
piece of art.
another one,
Yeah.
and now there's a series, Alien Earth or something. I mean, what the hell? Maybe I'm just jealous because I'm not in it. I don't know.
No, I think the original was definitely the best, and that's the thing when an amazing piece of art or something very innovative is created, that is timeless and iconic. But then, yeah, the fine line of the franchise tends to be like, okay,
Right.
that was great, let's make 1,000 more, and it's not
Yes,
not
I
always needed.
know. It sort of loses the essence of what it was all about. So,
Exactly. Well, but back on the topic of the birds for a moment, I actually have a little story because I had the fortune of seeing the birds for the first time when I was quite young, actually, on the big screen at a TCM screening hosted by Tippi Hedren and Ben Mankiewicz from TCM.
oh,
So it went from, oh, look at this fun experience, seeing them in person, everything, to not expecting how impactful it would be. It went to a terrifying experience for the film, and but I loved it, and I also found Tippi so lovely and graceful, and she had
yes,
wonderful
she's
stories. So.
beautiful. She and I used to do quite a lot of conventions together, and we did one down at the Egyptian where we talked, and we did one at the Motion Picture Academy, and we did these talks with in front of an audience of your peers, but also we've done them where you know, different audiences, and she's lovely, absolutely lovely. But she doesn't do them anymore, so that's sad. But she's 95, and I mean she had a long life with those animals, and I'm sure that some of it is sort of catching up with her a little bit. So what can you do?
Yes. And you were so young at the time making the film. I was talking about me being young seeing it, but you were young making it. So were you even able to see the final product at that young age?
What, the birds?
Of the birds? Yeah, once it was complete.
Yeah, I mean, I think my parents took me to see it. I don't think I had any, I don't remember a premiere of that. And I'm sure there was, but I don't remember ever going. You might have. I mean, don't remember that much, but because I really liked Alfred Hitchcock. He and I got along great. I mean, I think it was primarily because his wine cellar was in Bristol, England, where I was born. And he'd tell me great wines to get and things like that, but I was 12, so I wasn't
Yeah.
jotting down the name. What would you please spell that for me? Um, Tell me how to cook a steak because I need to know when I got married how to do it. Um, I'd have tea with him in the afternoon when we would be on the set. I mean, he was never intimidating whatsoever. I could ask any question I wanted, and he would be proud to answer it. He was fabulous to me. So I don't, if there was a premiere, I would have remembered. I mean, they threw me a huge big birthday party on the set because I turned
Oh.
15. And that was the day that all the birds had come down. I mean, I look
Oh
like,
gosh.
I'm like my eyes are, they lead me over to this other stage where the entire crew, everybody, a huge big cake. And Jessica gave me a sweater, and Tibby gave me a set of lovebirds. And Alfred Hitchcock drew me his face and wrote to the woman I love, Veronica, and then signed it. And it was, I don't know, it was just very special. So, um, but not every movie gets a premiere. I mean, it might have, but I don't know. I've been to a few fabulous premieres, frankly.
I'm sure that's great. On another topic, it seems you have a passion for animal rescues. So I'm curious, when did you first
Uh,
find your interest in supporting rescues and also rescuing some pups yourself? Did you have pets growing up?
yeah, we did. We had poodles. My mother
Oh.
liked poodles. As a matter of fact, I have inherited my parents' poodle, who now has Cushing's disease, and he's blind, and he wears double diapers. Um,
Oh.
and he's on lots of medication, but you'd never know he was 15 or 16 years old. He's still hi. Can hear, he knows he can hear me, but he's not quite sure what direction I'm in. So there's a lot of like doing this. Um, and then I have my Harley who's in the room with me right now.
Aw.
She's curled up on the floor there. Yes, I'm talking about you, huh? But I've always rescued dogs have either found me, cats have always if they've found me. I don't go out and say, "Oh, I'm going to go get a cat." they just sort of wander in the house one day, and then I've
Just appear
adopted
one day.
a cat. And dogs, yeah, I believe totally in rescuing animals. And I think it's very important. There's so many of them that are born and that, and they're so appreciative of you rescuing them that they're great. I've just always done that. I
Oh,
was just,
that's wonderful.
I don't know, my parents never did. My sister doesn't. She wants, the purebred ones, but I've always gone down and rescued. I mean, I had a fabulous Chihuahua. His name was Louis the Lip. He had brown lips, and he was from South Central, and then this little, little hangy lip there. And his name was Louis, and I had seen him at the vet. There was a rescue group that had placed him at a vet, figuring people come in and see them all the time. And my son at the time, my son is 6'7", so he's a large teenager, and he wanted to have a Chihuahua. So we went down at one point. There was a horrible, horrible thing here in Chatsworth where there was some woman who had something like 60 chihuahuas all living on top of
Oh,
each
wow.
other. They were finally released, but we went down and he really liked one, but it was going to take an awful lot of work and we were due to go out of town. I said, why don't we wait until we come back? And then I'm sure that puppy will still be there. You know. So he says, well, okay. But so I happened to be at the vet's with my cat and who had just walked into my house. And
Love it.
in Pennsylvania. I had two other cats, and then in walks Flo Baby, her name was, and she
Aw,
just walked into the house one day, and the other two cats were so astonished looking at her walking in.
the audacity
She
just
went
walk in
straight
here
over,
like
ate
you
their
belong
food, and
here.
on the way out, she went like this, like that. They were, what the hell? And the next day she showed up, and the third day she just moved on in.
That's so funny. That's very like a
So
cat.
So then I brought her back to California because we were in New York and then we had a little house in Pennsylvania. And so I was there with her. And then there was this little Chihuahua. So I said, when I got home, I said, there's a Chihuahua named Louie down at the vets. Do you want to? Oh, I'd like to see him. So I called up the vet and they were about ready to close. And I said, well, can you just hang on for a few minutes because I'll bring my son over because he's interested in Louie. So he was sitting on the couch and they went back and they got Louis. Louis came running across the entire lobby and just jumped into his lap and just sat there.
Aw,
So it was meant to be. So I had
absolutely
Louis
meant
for
to
a
be.
very long time. I even named my corporation after Louis the Lip. I mean, it was called the Lip and I. And he was a hysterical. So when I took him back, you have to take him back after 2 weeks to just make sure that everything's going okay. And there was a man there and he goes, oh, what's your dog's name? I said, Louis the Lip. And he goes, oh, a gangsta. And I said, well, yeah, he's from South Central. And so he goes, well, you know who the Lip is? And I said, no. And he goes, well, that's Billy Crystal's character in Analyze This. And so that just seemed so perfect.
That's great.
And he was
Oh my
just such
God.
a, he was such a character. He was a riot, that dog.
That's so sweet. It's the name was meant to be. You were meant to meet him,
Meant to
have
be
him.
Louis the Lip.
Perfect. So cute.
So.
And you said you named your corporation. Is it a like a production company or
Yeah, it
just
was
okay.
for my acting stuff, but I sort
Gotcha.
of closed it down now. I'm in this no point in having it. But I did a lot of work under that. I mean, I did a series with it and stuff like that. So yeah, I've done a couple series but you know, so different business right now. Terribly slow right now. It's just weird. But hopefully with the incentives that Newsom's just signed in, that it'll start picking up and there'll be more work here.
Yeah, it
Plus,
has been a little
I'm
rough for
older.
LA.
I'm
Yeah.
older, so stuff isn't just as available as it was.
Well, it seems, at least from what I'm seeing, it seems that you're consistently working, though. I mean, you had the recent movie that came out with the Ruse. I've heard that you're working on a script currently right now.
I don't know where you heard that from, but
Oh, okay.
I know. No, there's actually a novel that a friend of mine wrote that's just
Ah.
fabulous. I'm praying that it gets off the ground because it is a stunning book that needs to be made into like a six-part series. I
Oh,
was
very cool.
kidding her the other day. I said, I'm only getting older, you know. I'm gonna have to do a
Oh.
lot of the tweaking.
Oh no, you look beautiful though. Since we are on the topic of animals, of course, I did want to ask you, have you ever had the chance to work with any animal actors at any point in your career?
Animal actors. Well, when I did Daniel Boone series, we had a goose.
That
And then when I
counts.
did,
I
oh,
said
I
that
mean,
counts.
oh my God, I remember all of them saw me going, oh my God, they told me never work with children and animals. I mean, that thing used to not like him and used to chase him
Oh
around.
no. Geese can be mean actually.
They
So
can be
that
very
checks out.
mean. And then when I did going south, we had horses, of course, but fortunately I knew how to ride. I ended up getting a horse after doing that show because I just fell
Oh,
in
very
love with it
nice.
all over again. So I had my horse, Trapper. He was very cool. He
Oh.
came in, the stuntman, the one of the Wranglers got him for me. He came in from Montana, and I was off doing a movie when he came in. He had very long hair because it was winter in Montana. They had to get him a little organized for me. But then it was really great because I had to go and do Western training and then do the English training. And when I was over in England, I had a picture of my horse there and I was doing Alien. And the house that I rented, the woman, she said, "Oh, you ride." And I said, "Well, yes." She says, "Well, you must go on a hunt with us. I'll call you when it's time." So I said, "Okay." So I'll be damned if she didn't call me. And the movie had just wrapped, and I went off to Galway and rode with the Galway Blazers. So I got to
Very
go on a
cool.
hunt. It was quite fabulous. And let's see, any other animals? We didn't have any animals in Flight of the Navigator, did we? No, no.
No, just little fake little creatures, critters,
Oh, the
right?
little
When they
critter,
were
yeah.
puppets.
Let's see. Did we work with any other animals? I guess I haven't worked with that many animals.
Just in your personal life. You
I
have
know, I know,
all of
which
them
is
around
kind
you.
of shocking. I mean, it's kind of shocking. I mean, there seem to be animals in a lot of things. So, huh, oh well.
Cool. Well, we've talked about your film and television and theater experience, but your acting has also extended into the voice acting world as well, including video games and some more
Oh, yes,
modern
I'm
adaptations of
Trash Can
things.
Carla.
Yes.
Yes, I am in Fallout 4.
Yes,
That
Fallout is
was
a huge
hysterical. I
popular
mean,
game.
that was a couple of intense days of doing. I mean, quite a lot of, I did different voices in there. I think I'm in there a bunch of different times.
Yes.
But Trash Can Carla is the main one.
What a name.
And when I did a thing, I was invited to go to a drama um, class group. It was like from different drama classes from different high schools. Um, and in McAllen, Texas. And it was after I did something else. And then I know, I had gone up to Canada. I'd just done Supernatural and then I did a Sabrina. And then I needed to go to McAllen, Texas to do this talk. And one of the main things they had up there, because I didn't know what Trash Can Carla looked like, there was Trash Can Carla. And they showed a whole clip of Trash Can Carla out of the game. And well, I've actually done people come up and have like three-dimensional things of Trash Can Carla and ask me to sign them and stuff.
Wow.
So I guess she's kind of the hit.
I
But
know, right?
it's so interesting doing games because you have to do them from all different points of view. If somebody's winning, or they're not winning, or they're losing, or you're dying, or then you have to do the same scene but from all different perspectives. So it's fascinating because, and you have to do it for male and you have to do it for female. And so that I guess there must have some trigger in the games. I'm not a gamer, so I don't know. So that you can say if it's a woman playing or a guy playing or whatever, and then they can switch in and then you become that character. It's fascinating. So it's quite involved.
True.
And
Especially
because
because it's not linear like a film,
no,
start to finish what's happening.
and I
It's
didn't
all
even know
dependent on
what
the
she looked
player.
like,
Right.
there would just be things of I was at one point I was some sort of a nurse. I mean, of course, it's apocalyptic, so I was going in and then trying to fix somebody and get the bandages and do this but then there was another part where you were the dying character, and then you had to do it as another part where you're bartering things, and it's fascinating. I mean, but you have to do it in all possible ways so that whoever's playing can, and I did do we did one for Alien. We did the Alien game.
Yes.
And that was fun because Harry Dean showed up and then there was Yaphet was there and Tom. And so that was kind of fun because we all got to hang out for a little bit
Yeah.
because we hadn't
Behind the
seen
scenes
each other
reunion.
in a long time.
Aw.
So, of course, I kicked the bucket, but I did not know this. But my son actually got the game, and he decided, and he beat the game, but I still lived by the time he was finished. So who knows? I mean, there's different possibilities when you're doing these things. It doesn't have to be exactly like the movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's fascinating. What else have I done? I did the Japanese I was the grandmother in the Japanese Netflix series called Scissors 7, but that was all dubbing. And I'm the crotchety grandmother who was always telling the character what to do, and there would be and then he's, out there with his scissors doing different things. Scissors 7 it's called. So I did more than one season of that. So that was kind of fun.
That's
Yeah.
very fun. Yeah, dubbing is also another experience in
Yeah.
itself because
Yeah.
you're
Totally.
synchronizing with something that's already there, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I would watch a little bit, I would watch some of it so they could get the timing down. Yeah. But when you're doing the games, they haven't even written those parts yet. So you do the game and they're just telling for one thing, my character was never named Trash Can Carlo when I was doing it. I That was later that came. So it's totally fascinating. It's an interesting form. So I did a Loud House. I did the Loud House series, and Butt Pachowski was the gymnasium teacher on Butt Pachowski. She was rough. It's fun. It's fun doing those things. And I just did an Amazon one, but um, so who knows? We'll see what happens with those. So
No, definitely lots of fun. I mean, speaking of different, unusual processes and things like that, what would you say has been one of the most unconventional productions you've been a part of, whether it was the actual material or just the process behind it?
mm, um, doing the ruse was not an easy
Hmm.
accomplishment, which was interesting. Um, I don't know. They've usually pretty much gone with the script. I'm gonna say doing Alien was everything was built, the largest sets. We took over an entire studio and built the sets. And so everything was actual size.
Oh, wow.
And when you walked into the engine room, that was connected to the room to the left, which was the hospital. And then you walked a little further, and the room to the right was the kitchen area where we ate. So everything was connected. It was very claustrophobic. And Ridley loved working with smoke. It's a beeswax smoke and stuff. It didn't matter where you were, there was this smoke. Then the desert scene, of course, we had those big helmets on and stuff like that. That was not an easy thing considering we were like 50 pounds of gear on us,
Yeah.
plus the helmet, hockey gloves that were spray painted so they didn't move, moon boots. They lined the costumes in nylon, and there was a heat wave in England at the time.
Of
I think
course.
I lost 10 pounds that week. I'd take it off and there would be pools of sweat. It was so disgusting.
Gosh.
Um, and then they forgot to give us any air holes in the helmets
Oh no.
or give us any mics so we could hear what was going on. All three of us, John, Tom, and myself, we all three of us passed out at one point
Oh gosh.
because the CO2 canisters that we had that were pluming on the back were going into the masks. And you'd see these like smoke going around. You had no idea what it was. And it turned out to be CO2. So when you were exerting yourself, and of course there was no place to go, and then you got this CO2. I mean, when Ridley decided that we had to carry John, not a mannequin, John, across the entire desert, which was this massive soundstage, get onto this forklift thing that took us up to the top of the spaceship. Well, by the time I got up there, I was,
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
here's Tom trying to grab me with gloves that don't bend. And he's like, and he's going, hope, hope nobody could hear
And
it.
nobody hears. Oh my
Yes, but nobody
goodness.
could hear you scream. Uh,
Literally. It's
oh
crazy.
my God. Oh, it was intense.
That sounds like a horror movie scene in itself, just the
Uh,
experience. So crazy.
unbelievable.
Oh my
But we
goodness.
were
You
actors
survived it though.
complaining. Well, we were actors complaining until they did the stuff where the kids came in, Tom's son and Ridley's two kids, portraying us that were supposed to be us, to make that whole set even look bigger than it was. And then when Ridley's kids passed out, he's going, "What is going on here?" He had flipped out. Well, they've forgotten to put air holes in their masks either.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So
A lot of
yeah,
sacrifices went into that set, that's for sure.
not the easiest movie to make.
Definitely. But it
Um,
sounds like it was very immersive though. I mean, it must have been pretty cool to have the whole spaceship atmosphere feel so
oh,
real. I mean, the
oh
entire
well, and I
soundstage
mean the
was just
sets
that.
were phenomenal. The sets were phenomenal. One whole soundstage was taken up with a space jockey. Massive, massive structure. And it was just incredible, the sets. They were incredible. The caves were all built and everything. John coming down from the top of the sound stage and dropping down into the pit with the eggs and stuff like that. I mean, that was all practical. There was no CGI in that movie at all. So it was intense. It looked stunning. And
Definitely. I think it's something that gives fans that kind of nostalgia for practical because there's some practical in some modern movies. It's not completely gone, but it's been replaced by so much CGI now,
I
AI.
know.
It's like a
And
lot of
I've done
people
that
long
too.
for the practical effects, I think.
Yeah, it's so much better when it's practical. I mean, because it's there, visual. I mean, I've done it where I did Terror in the Isles, which was three separate stories, and mine was a rat that had grown massive that was under the house. And it was, of course, they hired a person to get into the rat suit, but they're, of course, built entirely different than a rat. So it kept falling over. And so the director was beside himself. So he just took the costume and went, he was going, "Here it is, here it is." And you're like, the little girl was just in the scene. She was like, "What the hell is going on?" She just looked
Gosh,
at her face as hysterical. I mean, oh my God. Of course, we're following this green dot at some point, and then this man running around with a rat suit.
my
Totally
goodness.
insane, totally ridiculous.
That's funny.
But anyway, it was fun. It's much better if it can be practical. That's always nice.
Right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to tell me about your fascinating career. You have some wonderful stories. Let's wrap it up with what's on the horizon for you right now.
Just crossing fingers that something good comes along. I mean, it's pretty slow right now, but hopefully things will start picking up. I mean, I think now that Newsom's, made it more practical to be able to film here, I think that'll be very good. He just signed that the other day, so
Yes, and you seem to continuously find very cool projects to be part of, so I'm sure we have more to
thank
look forward to from you as well.
thank you very
Yes,
much.
well, thank you again so much for your time. This has been wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.